Hi and welcome to this tutorial. This one's designed to show you how to use the survey sheets, the Excel survey sheets that we supply, how to fill them out. I've got a sheet set up here, so I'm going to go ahead and open Demo System Survey. Okay, a few things to point out. Most importantly, up the top here, a security warning saying that macros have been disabled. There are a number of tools in here that help you, and we need to enable the macros. So I need to click on here and make those macros run. If your security settings don't allow you to do that, then you need to speak to us, or indeed if you're using an older version you need to find out how to enable the macros for the spreadsheets, because a lot of the functions require the macros to run. Okay, if I was to talk down the sheet in order, let's look at this one here. The system identification, that comes through from the system ID when you complete a system identification spreadsheet. So the idea here is that you would tie up the numbers in here with the numbers in your survey. I happen to notice here that 2 is LTHW, 3 is cold water down services. So in this case that should be O3, and if you call them O3 in one, it's important to call them O3 in the other. Cold water down services, that's its system type, CWDS, as taken from the system ID sheet. The short location reference is really for you to describe where this system is in short terms. It's also used as a reference if you go on to use our monitoring. So in this case I've used admin because it's in the admin block of this site, and I've named it TO1, so now I know the tank and where it is. And you can describe what the cold water feeds in this box here. Okay, the buttons here, you have perhaps the easiest one to talk about is auto size rows. If any of the text in the boxes you can't read, auto size rows will just do exactly as it says, line the rows up so that you can read all the text. Okay, check recs is a little function we've put in, and it's probably best demonstrated by me removing a recommendation. And you can see here we've said that there's no overflow screen installed, which means there is a Legionella risk, which we've given a rating of 2 to, and we've made a recommendation. However, if we were to not make a recommendation, I've deleted it out there. If I was to press on check recs, it turns the box yellow, just as a warning to you guys to put a recommendation in there. I'm basically telling you that you've said that there's something wrong, but you haven't made a recommendation. So that's probably a good time to introduce the sort of drop-down menu aids. These two boxes here for answers and recommendations will provide a list of possible answers for each question as you click on the question. So we're here on row 21 answering question 15. And we've said that no overflow screen is installed, and we click on the drop down menu and it gives us some options as to what we want to choose, and we've got in here the overflow assembly should be repositioned in the vertical to allow drainage. Obviously if it was badly positioned, simple phrase saying that a suitably sized and screened overflow, let's just scroll that down a wee bit so you can see it. Suitably sized and screened overflow pipes should be fitted in accordance with the water supply regulations. So that's where you gain quite a large amount of speed by using the pre-formatted drop-down choices. If we click on check recs again, of course, that will go clear because there are none left in there. The check for squiggles is the same concept. Some of our recommendations actually have a squiggle where it's expected that you will put in specific site-specific comments, and if you click on the check for squiggle button, it would let you know that you've left a squiggle in where it should have had site-specific information. Same thing, just turn a little yellow colour. Okay, so that's the three buttons. The basic idea of choosing answers from the drop-down lists. Now certainly with something like temperature, we would expect that the temperature that you were recording would be specific. So here's an example of the squiggles. We choose a temperature and it puts the squiggles in, then we click on the cell, and up in the top here we can then edit the temperature to whatever temperature it was that the system is running at, hit return. So when you choose these possibilities from the drop down list, you're not stuck with them, they're all fully editable. If you choose to put in your own recommendation, then the L risk and GR risk won't be given its 0 to 4 rating, and it's important that you put in a rating for the answer that you've put into the system. If these are not filled out with numbers, then they will show as incomplete, as questions that haven't been done. Which brings me on to the little scoring matrix over here. When you've completed your survey, if you click on here, it will tell you how many Legionella risk ratings and general risk ratings there are at the levels of 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 in the system. It will also tell you if there are any blanks, questions that are not answered, and the total number of questions there are for this survey, 26 in this case, with a little percentage. And these are the figures that are then fed into the system to help the client work out what he should do, what order, and what his highest risks actually are. Okay, so once we've completed these surveys, just by working our way down the questions, we need to save the document. I would suggest that each time you complete one of these documents, you can save it in a 97 2003 or as a standard new format workbook. I'll save it as a 97 2003 one for the minute. I would suggest that we should be creating a site-specific folder and putting these surveys into those site-specific folders. That way you can reuse these surveys again and again when you go to another site with a similar cold water storage tank. Instead of opening up a blank one, you will be able to open up one of your previous surveys, and then of course the only thing you've got to do is actually go in and alter the facts that are not correct for the new system, and there's an awful lot of time to be saved by working like that. So that's how we complete survey sheets. I'll just talk about the tabs down here briefly. Questions, answers and recommendations. We have shipped in all of the information and the data behind the scenes. We decided not to lock any of this up, which means that people can, if they wish to, make changes here. The only thing I'd say is if you change the questions, or you try moving them around, deleting them, you're liable to get some pretty strange things going on when you complete your survey on the front. So if you want to change the back end of these, it's probably worth talking to us. It's a pretty complicated little package. So my standard recommendation is don't fiddle, but you can do some clever things, and if you feel you need to do something clever to alter perhaps the text that's coming through in the guidance or the question, give us a call and we'll talk you through it. They can be changed. Another little trick I try to use every now and again perhaps would be to utilize some of the comments from the guidance to build up recommendations, and you can actually copy the text in here. I tend to use a paste special, which is the value only that I bring across, and then we don't get any of the formatting. But that's a nice way of picking up a big chunk of text from the guidance, dropping it over here, and then of course you can actually have a fiddle around with the information. On the later versions here, if you haven't done it before, you can actually grab the bottom here and drag down the workspace, which makes it much easier to work up here and edit the sections that you choose to alter. So you can use the guidance and things to help speed things up. Okay, I hope that's been useful.